So, good evening. Tonight is Monday, the 19th of March, 2018, and this is the first executive coaching webinar for our group of executive coaches. So, I have Ian Edwards with me. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you, Susan.
For being here.
Yep, no, that's good.
That's good. So, we've just been chatting about what you're doing and catching up because as you came to the last professional coach training workshop in Brisbane, which was quite exciting with everybody there. And I was hoping we'd have a few more people here tonight, but anyway, it's just you and I. So what I wanted to do tonight was focus on the beginning of the executive coaching course. So you're not up to that yet. It'll be a preview for you. But some of the concepts will be familiar to you, and you'll see how we are adapting them to an executive environment. Now, in your case, it's more of a business environment working with the senior CEOs or the business owners. Is that right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So I think they're still looking and wanting the focus of our courses, which is about what's the solution. It's all solution rather than problem focused, and it's all goal oriented. How do we help them to get to where they want to be? Mm-hmm. However, with executive coaching, particularly in a corporate environment, there are some different aspects to our coaching. So in a corporate environment, maybe in yours when you're talking with employees or business owners, Ian,
yep.
You're focused on two people. One is the individual who's being coached, and the other is the organisation and getting value for money if the organisation is paying for that person to be coached. Does that happen with you, or are you always just coaching the executive?
Yeah, no, we've got two general managers, so that we coach who don't own the business.
Right.
They're particularly involved in where the decisions, where the company's going.
And is the organisation paying for them to have your services?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And you were saying before that you're getting increasingly into larger organisations, so this may be totally appropriate for you. So what we've got is two clients, as you're starting to be aware of. The other part of the executive coaching course is that we very much focus on evidence. What's the evidence to say that there is a problem? I don't know whether you put much emphasis on that already, Ian, or not.
Yeah, well, again, it's just exploring through really to see where growth needs to occur and change needs to happen.
Yeah, okay. So we'll find that they're the three differences principally between what you're doing now with your coaching, because you're at Unit 8 and you're learning how to coach. And then we'll take it further. And when you get into the executive coaching units, you'll still be coaching, but you'll be coaching around different issues.
Yes.
So the issues will be more at that business pointy end of growth or profitability or strategic decision making or something like that.
Yeah.
You're probably doing a lot of it already, but the focus at the moment is just learning how to coach to be a better coach than what you currently are.
Yeah.
This is our executive coaching model, and you'll see that when you go through to the units, the last two units. So it's a three-part model. It starts with an assessment and a feedback. And the assessment is usually a 360-degree feedback of some sort, using, say, DISC or Human Synergistics or COS 360 or something else, like from one of our organisations that we have executive coaches in is using the Hogan. And you might have other credentials in some others, McQuaid or something like that.
Yeah, so we're accredited with DISC, Workplace Motivators, and Emotional Intelligence.
There you go. And I think Leadership Circle is another one that some people use. So it doesn't matter what the 360 feedback is, but at that level, sometimes people are pretty much so full of themselves that they can't see the wood for the trees. So we need to hold the mirror up to them. And perhaps sometimes the ego gets in the way as well. So that's what the first part of the executive process is definitely doing an assessment where you've got 360 feedback. The second part is oftentimes there is a performance component to what the organisation is wanting that person to improve on. And we work through the same model of SMART goals and skill, will and ongoing action planning. But the thing is that we're looking at the performance for a person who's not really going out the door or dismissal, obviously, but somebody that the organisation feels that they're just not quite getting it. They're not quite, doing what they used to do. There's something going on there for them.
Yeah.
And so we at least would look for a 6-month process in that way. And I think within 6 months, if you've got someone who's sort of middle of the road, who just needs a bit of a boost or a motivation or something, you can probably do magic in 6 months, I think. And then, of course, if they're a talented person or someone designed for a succession plan in the organisation, you want to look at coaching for development as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so whether they're given opportunities to promote within the organisation, or to sit in on a job when someone's away or someone's on leave or maternity leave, there's a stint there for 3 months or 6 months. Those sort of opportunities would be great to give them the experience of sitting in that role.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're dealing with government departments, that happens all the time. And you've really got to find out where their substantive role is.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes when you are going into organisations or if you're coaching, you'll find that maybe there isn't a need for a performance coaching because that person is doing fine. There's just a need for helping them with their growth and their development as they become part of the leadership team or as they go into a leadership role. So that's where the first thing that you're going to be doing is sitting down and meeting with the client's manager. Now, I'll say the client rather than the employee, but you understand that's the employee, whoever it is that it's going to be your primary contact and concern. So the situation and the process is the same as what you're doing now with your coaching. What's the current situation? What's been done? But where it differs is in the evidence for the performance that's happening. And I'll show you another slide on that shortly.
Yeah.
We don't deal with underperformance and we don't deal with diminished performance. The reason being that if you do start to, and sometimes you might be tempted to try and coach somebody who's on their way out, it's no good for your reputation if you can't coach them back in, right?
Yeah.
So we say to you, don't risk your reputation by taking on board someone who's obviously on the way out and all they want you to do is rubber stamp it. That's not good for you. Mm-hmm. Now, at times there might be some specific coaching needs for skilling or related areas around how to manage conflict or negotiate or whatever. Try and ascertain with the manager as best you can what those specific coaching needs are and or if there's any position-related competencies. If there are position-related competencies like financial forecasting, that's not really for you to do if you are not skilled in that area. If you are, that's fine. But if you're not skilled, then you might suggest they go and do a short course at somewhere like the Institute of Managers and Leaders or somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
So don't feel that you have to cover all areas of knowledge, okay? They won't expect you to do that. But you need to lay on the table with the manager that, this is not my area of expertise. I'm really good at conflict negotiation and change management, but budgetary financial forecasting is not my forte. However, I can find a resource for this person, a short course or something like that. Now, in your case, I think you are skilled in that area, so you can probably help in that area too, but that's up to you whether you want to take it that route or not.
Sure.
So when we look at what's the evidence, this is what I mean by that. So what exactly is the problem? So, for example, just say there's a key project that's run over time and over budget. Right? How do we know it's a problem? What's the evidence? So the first line there says, well, this person is 3 months behind in their project targets and deadlines. That's the evidence. What's your assessment of the employee's coaching needs? Well, the first one is how to meet targets and deadlines as per the project plan. So here the coaching need is about time management, priority setting, those sort of needs, right? So from this problem, whatever the problem is, you can extract the coaching need. Okay?
Yep.
The second one there, investors are concerned about loss or reduction in anticipated returns. So how do we know it's a problem? Well, the investor meetings are characterised by intense or heated discussions. And what's your assessment of their coaching needs? How to respond to investors in a way that alleviates their concerns. You getting the drift here?
Yes, yeah.
So just follow the process through. So what you really need to do is just focus on what exactly is the problem. And you'll notice exactly is one of the NLP words that are used, okay? And then how do we know it's a problem when you're looking at time, 3 months? We're looking at overruns of percentages if you can possibly get numbers or percentages. And from out of that, you'll get your coaching needs. Then you can determine if you're the right person to help that person or if you need to find another resource for them. So for me, responding to investors probably is another short course. Somebody else can do it, but I'm not qualified to do that.
Yeah.
So don't attempt to do anything you're not qualified to do.
Yeah.
So that's how the executive coaching really emphasises all of this exactness and the numbers Because let's face it, if you're going to go in and be paid by an organisation, the CFO or the financial officer will want to know what's the return on investment from your coaching. Okay. And if you say, well, my course is $5,000 or whatever for 6 months, they'll say, well, what are we going to get in return? And so as we go through the executive coaching, and I won't do it tonight, but I'll show you how you can look at ROI and how you can convince that person that there certainly is what the research would suggest is between 300 and 500% return on investment from executive coaching. It's pretty phenomenal, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we've seen that time and time and time again.
Yeah. So looking at the first part, the personality 360-degree assessment, obviously it's conducted by somebody who's accredited to use the instrument and provide feedback and debriefing to the client. And if that's not you, don't be concerned about it. So, for example, this organisation where we've got coaches who are Hogan accredited, we've got 2 of them who are Hogan accredited in there and the others are not. So that's okay because those 2 can provide the debrief for all the rest. So we work as a team, and as a team, you've got lots of skills and resources available to you. So you might need at times to convince the manager that this is necessary. Or if it's been done recently, you might ask the manager to ask the client to send you his report or her report. And then if they haven't done the assessment, it probably sometimes takes 4 to 6 weeks, I think, with DISC. My understanding, is that right? If we can get it all through?
No, we get a DISC approval done in less than a week, as well as the discovery program.
Okay, well, that's very cool.
So we submit. Normally when I submit, I'll get a number, like a unique profile number for them within 24 hours. If they sat the test that day, I would have a discovery program within 3 days for them.
Oh, okay. Things have really improved then. Yeah, that's good.
The mob I work with are brilliant, and then as soon as I've got all my templates to do what we call download, which is a discovery, so they just know really what everything means in their profile.
That's lovely. Yeah, good on you. Excellent.
Just in the terminology there, Susan, the need to undertake a personality profiling.
Yep.
We always use the term behavioural profiling.
Do you? Even when talking about DISC?
Yeah, because DISC is a measurement of behaviour. Yeah.
And what we're talking about is how they can gain that self-awareness and insight to change their behaviour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, no, it's just a terminology, that's all.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. So we've undertaken the 360. Or we've talked to the manager about the need for it. That's the first step. Then we engage the manager, not the client, in the coaching contract. Now, this may be different. Every organisation will have their own. So the one that you have may not be suitable in an organisational context. They might require you to sign off on theirs. And that's been our experience when we send people in to coach in different organisations.
Yes.
Yeah. So the minimum period I'd engage for is 6 months with a client, where you typically find that like we're coaching those directors in this organisation, it's probably a month apart. So you might get your 6 sessions in 6 months, but sometimes it slips with the busyness of them all. So you haven't got the facility to coach every week or every fortnight or at your leisure, as you would normally in just coaching somebody in the street. However, that's what you have to work with, and what typically our executive coaches do is give people a bit of homework in between. So that's not just a month before you make contact again. And of course, you would ask them to let you know how things are going. And there's also a program that Jasmine's put me onto called Coach Accountable. Have you heard of that one?
No.
And it's a goal-setting program where you can have your clients log in and put their goals up and their action plans, apparently, and she can log in and she can see in real time what they're doing and how they're doing.
Okay.
So
we've got something similar to that we've got in key one of the 5 keys. So so
that's good. Okay. So then tee up with the manager. And usually what I try to do is, even if I'm meeting with the manager, I try and do a summary of that meeting because
Yes.
and confirm all the logistics that we talked about, because they're so busy they forget,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
just keeps your back, covered basically. Then you need to wait for the payment to come through or to be confirmed
Yes.
before you start coaching, and then you can keep in touch with the manager on a weekly basis. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
client on a weekly basis, but a manager probably on a monthly, six weekly basis, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're going to meet with the two of them together. Right? The reason for this is because you've had a conversation with the manager that the manager may not have had with their client, with the employee. It
Yes.
might be the first time the employee has heard, hey, I'm going to be coached. What for? What's it all about?
Yeah.
Now, hopefully it isn't, but in lots of cases it will be the first time they hear about all this. So you want to explore with them and the manager this idea about what coaching is, what it does, and why it needs to occur. So once again, you would get the manager to explain to the employee what the evidence is and tease that through so that the employee understands why they do need coaching around time management or priority setting or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You're not the one doing the convincing coming from the manager.
Yeah.
You can also observe the interaction between the two as well and see if there's any rubs there that might need to be smoothed out.
Sure.
So then you're at some stage going to meet with the client by him or herself. And the same process of coaching is what you're going through now, okay?
Yes.
And you're going to do all that with the client because you really need the client on board with you. And it's like you renegotiate all over again for the coaching relationship that you're going to have with this client, okay? Even though you've negotiated a contract with the manager, that's an organisational contract. This is your own personal contract with the employee to get on the right foot with them so they understand who you are, what your roles are, what your expectations are, and they are fully on board with you and get committed. Okay? It's a really important step because out of this comes trust and comes rapport. And if you don't get that, you don't get nowhere. Okay?
All right.
Okay. So then you or someone else will debrief their profile and use examples if possible. And then you're going to start about, well, who was it who did suggest that you meet with me, right? You're not interrogating, you're just finding out, oh, it was the manager's idea that you meet with me, was it? Oh, or was it that somebody else higher up said you should meet with me? Or it would be good to meet up with, Ian or whatever. Explore the problem with the client. So, and the problem might be different from what you had discussed with the manager. It might be that at that stage they feel very uncertain and lost, and they've got some vague idea of what's happening, but not quite sure. And they're perhaps not even really motivated at this stage to come on board with you. So you need to then look at the evidence, what's happening in terms of time, and just getting to work on time, are you being a loner, etc., etc. And as you listen to the story from the client, he or she will tell you what's happening for them. And then you ascertain the coaching needs from their perspective. So what you've got is two perspectives. You've got the organisational perspective and you've got the client perspective. And you have to try and marry those two together and meet both needs. Okay?
Yep.
All right. So then we come back to the coaching model. So you're going to start the coaching for performance, presuming that there's a problem there, let's say time management and priority setting. And you coach around that for, say, 6 sessions, looking at examples from their work, examples of what's coming up in their work. You'll give them homework in between if they've got reports to write or projects to get outcomes by a certain date. So it's a matter of just walking with them, side by side with them in a partnership arrangement as the 6 months total on. And when you get to the end of it, hopefully that person should be pretty much at their peak performance. And then you're looking at coaching for development if there's an extension of whatever your coaching needs are. And that was what all I was going to cover with people tonight, and just say that's the introduction to it. And we'll pick up from there next webinar, which is going to be in a month's time on the 21st of May.
Right, okay.
How does that sit for you?
That may be a difficult night for me, but I'll see what I can do. It's my daughter's birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, but we'll see. I don't know. We normally all have dinner together as a family then, because one of my granddaughters is on the 22nd of May as well. So, but we might, if we can get it done on the Sunday, then we'll be fine.
actually, I'm not sure that the 21st is a Monday, is it? Oh, yes, yes, it is. Yep, that's right. So anyway, what I'll do, Ian, is if you're happy for me to share this recording with the others,
Yes.
I'll record every session so that you're not missing anything, and I know you will follow up with that.
Yeah.
If you have any questions or calls or queries or whatever, please get back to me. We haven't full hour.
All the other dates seem fine. It was only that one that I thought I may not be able to be there, but I'll certainly try. Okay. Even if I duck away for an hour and do it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. And I've left a space deliberately in the middle of the year because some people are overseas or holidays and that's
sure.
So we want to have a bit of a spell. Don't stretch ourselves too far. All right. Well, thank you very much, Ian, for being on the webinar and for contributing tonight as you have. It's been really lovely to catch up with you.
Yes.
And, I wish you and Donna all the best for your rest of your holiday.
Thank you.
We'll see you again in a month or so's time.
And when's the seminar
on? The Brisbane one?
Yes.
It's in May.
End of
May. Brisbane, the 14th to the 18th of May.
14th to the 18th of May. Okay then.
Yeah. You're going to try and get up for that one too?
I am going to try. Yeah, but I'll now I know the date. I'll look at what's in the diary for that time. So
yeah, okay. We've moved. As you know, I've moved house. I think.
Yes.
You would know. So we're holding the next seminar in the Executive Centre at Fortitude Valley.
Okay.
So 292 Water Street, Fortitude Valley is a lovely venue. It's we've got a great boardroom. We've got a barbecue area, but an outside area as well.
Yeah.
And good TV and video equipment. So, but the problem is, well, I guess it's not a problem. You have to find somewhere to stay locally.
Yeah, that's right.
Just a little way out of the city, or there's hotels. There's one hotel close by, pretty much.
Yeah, I'll look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just update me an email on that information, that'd be great.
On the Brisbane one, yes.
Okay. Yes. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Ian.
All the best.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye.